Hello everyone, Zanjo Uchiha here, Wagwan. So welcome back to the channel where today we'll be talking about Boruto Naruto Next Generations episode 132. If you watched the episode or if you enjoyed the content I usually provide on this channel, be sure to leave a like, a dislike if you didn't enjoy what I had to say. Subscribe, of course, I appreciate all the support, and let's get right into it. So episode 132 is in the bag. The title was Jiraiya's Assignment, and I must say I'm coming right off the episode and breakfast. But yeah, I'm coming right off the episode, and I must say, if I were to rank this episode out of all the Boyhood arc episodes, it's a strong contender for number one. It's right up there with that first episode that we got where we had Boruto interacting with Naruto in his apartment. That was a very decent episode. This episode actually, I don't know if it's the same for everybody, but this episode definitely touched a soft spot for me, honestly. But let's get right into the whole overview or what the episode covered. So this episode, we have Boruto training with Naruto under Jiraiya to synchronize their chakra. And the whole aim, as we see here, is for them to possibly come up with a combination jutsu, similarly to how we saw in Shippuden after Naruto got his, Rasen Shuriken training in, and he had the wind element Rasengan. He combined it with Yamato's water style. So yeah, combination jutsu. It's nothing new or strange to the whole franchise. It's something we've seen before, time and time again. So yeah, we have Boruto and Naruto doing that. Just to see they can take Urashiki by surprise, the big waist man. But at the same time, what I definitely liked about this episode, especially for the training segments between Boruto and Naruto, is that we get to see more so about Boruto's character in terms of his intelligence and skill when he's placed right beside Naruto. Sometimes you don't really realize something when something's like by itself, but in comparison to something else, yeah, there's that. So this episode actually helped to highlight Boruto's intelligence compared to Naruto. And it kind of made for some decent comedy, well, some okay comedy for the most part. It was a nice tidbit. I mean, at the end of the day, this is still Boruto, the Boruto series, so kind of highlighting and pushing his character in comparison to the old character. It's good, helps to differentiate them. It was kind of refreshing at least. That aside, we have much more of the major selling point of this arc, which is the character interaction. What we got in this episode, as Boruto trains with Naruto, we see him being afraid, kind of like some PTSD thing he's going through because Naruto attacked him in his one-tailed state, and that kind of led to a nice moment, a nice interaction between him and Neji, who had just finished training with Hinata. Now we get to see Boruto learn more about Naruto through Neji, and this is going to be a recurring thing throughout most of the arc, it seems. Boruto is going to learn about his father through the interactions that Naruto had with the various characters in the past, but it still stands to reason, or it's still a question which is up in the air, is will all of this matter at the end of the arc? Will the memories be erased? Will it be just considered like filler? Will it tie back into the manga? These are all very crucial questions which as of this episode we still can't even speculate, or even we haven't gotten any concrete answer on any of those questions. But the lack of any hint or tidbits of answering those questions doesn't really take away from the episode same time. Honestly, I think one of the best portions of the episode is the end portion with Sasuke. Honestly, and this episode helped to solidify that Sasuke is probably one of the best characters you can write material with in the Boruto era. Based on everything he's gone through, it's similar to how you would handle Vegeta in Dragon Ball at this point. Because of how his characters develop, you could probably write some decent stories with him, honestly, and it was on display for this episode. We have Naruto, who's basically down in the slumps. He's basically, I wouldn't say depressed, but he's kind of demotivated from his training with Boruto, and he's thinking about how he can actually get stronger to bring Sasuke back, because of course you gotta remember this is back in time where this is right after Sasuke and Naruto had their fight in the Valley of the End. So Sasuke has left the village to go train Orochimaru, so we know at this point in the time that Naruto is obsessing over how he can get stronger, or how he's not strong enough to bring Sasuke back. So there is that. No, this was a good opportunity for Sasuke himself to go in and kind of talk with Naruto, and it's just his characterization and everything in the moments that he's talking to Naruto and motivating him, telling him the story about himself to motivate Naruto, of course without giving away that it's him. So yeah, Sasuke was definitely one of the best moments of this episode, honestly, and it's just a good indication of how far Sasuke has come as a character. So the characterization definitely was a sell for me for this episode, especially where Sasuke is concerned. Now we also had Jiraiya in this episode, and even though in the first few episodes of this arc, Jiraiya seemed oblivious, but at the end of the day, Jiraiya is no idiot. despite what we might think. Well, we know he's not an idiot, but you get the point. But yeah, from the very start of the episode, I liked how they set it up. Like Jiraiya's, the whole atmosphere and mood around him was very different from the previous episodes. It's kind of like in the previous episodes he was kind of like oblivious. Oh, you can do that. Oh, you can do that. But this episode, like from the start, from his training with Naruto and Boruto, from him instructing and him like towards the end of the episode, finding out that making the deduction that Sasuke is actually Sasuke. He was portrayed very differently in this episode. Like he was in investigative mode, honestly. It was obvious, but it was, you're looking forward to see what happens. Now we have Jiraiya going and giving Sasuke some lunch to actually give to Naruto. But it seems, based on what I'm seeing with the episode, it was just all a means to test and see how Sasuke would interact with Naruto once he gets there. And it seems like using that, Jiraiya has deduced that Sasuke is Sasuke. And, especially based on the lines that Sasuke used at the end there, that Naruto reminded him of somebody from the past. So, Jiraiya essentially asks Sasuke, yo, are you Sasuke Uchiha? I'm like, yo, the episode ended right there, and I'm like, yo, Jado, hold up and edit that so Jesus, peace. Jano, I'm not gonna lie, this arc is definitely in the top 3 where the Boruto anime is concerned. If you haven't been checking it out, I would highly recommend it, honestly. So yeah, there's that. We also had a moment when Sasuke bumped into Sakura and dropped a note. So I just find it funny that Sasuke is the one that's messing up more. Like in the grand scheme of things, he's messed up more than Boruto. And it's going to be interesting to see how all of this unfolds at the end of the day. He dropped a note that Sakura picked up. I don't know what's on the note, or if it's a picture or what. Or maybe he recognizes it's Sasuke's handwriting. Never know, but I guess we'll see. But yeah, it seems like they've really and truly, with this episode, they've escalated things to like the next level in terms of, yo, we as the audience really want to see how this is going to unfold, and that's always a good thing, honestly speaking. So yeah, episode 132, definitely a good episode in my book. One thing I also need to comment on is the music. Oh god, like when you're on YouTube and you're probably watching, especially if you grew up in the Toonami era and you're watching like old Toonami intros and old anime openings I used to watch growing up, it's like the nostalgia hit me with the music in this episode. I mean, they've been using the old OSTs since the arc started, but general, like, yo, it really hit me with this episode, honestly. But all in all, as I said, it's a pretty damn good episode. I enjoyed it. I love the contrast between Boruto and Naruto. The characterization of Sasuke and Jiraiya in this episode was definitely a good tidbit. They escalated the whole conflict in this episode, the time travel conflict of, not changing the future, or not letting the characters in the past figure out who you are by, having Jiraiya deduce who Sasuke really and truly is and where he's from. And yeah, so escalating the conflict, highlighting certain aspects of the main character and the characterization of our fan favorite characters, puts episode 132 as, one of the best episodes in this new Boyhood arc, and I would highly recommend you check it out. We didn't have Urashiki. Oh, sorry about that. We didn't have Urashiki show up or anything, so it kind of makes me wonder what he's dealing with. But all in all, I thought it was a pretty good episode. Definitely check it out, people. Be sure to rate, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you enjoyed anything I had to say. Leave a like or dislike, and let's have a conversation in the comment section below. Of course, be sure to check out my previous videos, especially the video I did yesterday on Konohamaru, as well as my recent power scale videos on Team 7, which I'll probably have linked here in the end. So anyway, that's all I have for this one. Hope everyone's having a great Sunday. It's back to work tomorrow, unfortunately. So yeah, Sanjay Uchiha. See you guys in the next one.